Hello and welcome to Jurassic Park 3 Minute. We'll be discussing the second Jurassic Park sequel, 1 minute at a time. I'm Brad.
And Dave.
And today we're back to discuss minute 44 of Jurassic Park 3. But before we get to that, there's a big white elephant that just hit the internet, David. And I know you're going to be very excited. I've seen some pictures of you getting ready for Star Wars celebrations. But the teaser for episode 9.
Yeah, Celebration in Chicago, Star Wars Celebration has come to Chicago, and with it, some exciting Episode 9 news. And I know that after 8, a lot of the fandom, not me, I loved 8. I loved The Last Jedi. But I know a lot of the fandom is just not happy where that movie took the direction of the franchise. Kind of hoping for this one to, quote-unquote, save the franchise for them. And I really don't think the new franchise needs saving, but the movie looks excellent anyway.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And a huge, huge reveal is at the end of the trailer. And it is a familiar cackling laugh that I'm sure anybody who's seen the Star Wars movies would recognize. Not going to say who it is in case you haven't watched the trailer yet. In which case you should definitely watch the trailer.
Yeah, well, that was great too, where at Celebrations actually had Ian McDiarmid come out on stage. I'm not too worried about spoilers because it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday by the time this goes up. So
yeah, true.
A lot of people will see the teaser and that's it. They'll no more social media Star Wars until the film comes out, and that's fine. So that cackle's there. What it is completely speculation at the moment. Some think he's alone and living as a hermit in that destroyed piece of Death Star, or he's a Sith Force ghost, or it could be anything. But just the fact that it's tying the 9 films together. I'd love to see Hayden back. I know that's probably not a popular thing, but just to tie the films all together.
Actually, I think I did hear that. It's rumored at least that Hayden Christensen filmed some time as a Force Ghost, and presumably as a Force Ghost in this upcoming movie.
Yeah, I think that's the speculation that Rey has been trained by Force Ghosts Luke and Anakin to get her to this final stage, or at least Luke anyway. But it is great to hear Mark Hamill narrating the teaser as well.
That was really cool.
Yep, and they had a bit of unused footage from, I think it's from The Force Awakens, plus some stuff they filmed with Carrie Fisher. So
Yeah, the deal.
Apparently they sat down in an editing room and went through everything they had and gone, right, we've got to write the story around so we can use every bit of footage we got to make her story fit for this last film.
Yeah. That was a very emotional reveal.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those ones in the cinema when you see it all lay out.
I mean, I choked up when I saw fake Leia at the end of Rogue One, after Carrie Fisher had just died, and it was like seeing a ghost. You just didn't expect it. Not only did you not expect it, but the person playing this character had just recently died. So it's like literally seeing a ghost.
Yep. And they have confirmed apparently there is no CG Leia in this film as well, so we don't have to. Those that hated it don't have to worry.
No, yeah, they confirmed that right after Carrie Fisher died that they would not CG the character in any format. They were not going to digitally resurrect her like they did Peter Cushing for the character of Tarkin in Rogue One.
Yeah, and well, we got JJ back, and it definitely looked like a JJ trailer. Looks a lot like the Force Awakens tease we got. I remember talking with some people after Episode 8 came out, and how I remember hearing that JJ, when he passed the torch over to Gareth Edwards, it was Gareth Edwards, wasn't it? Who done 8?
Gareth Edwards did Rogue One, and then Ryan Johnson did 8.
Yeah, when when got handed over to Ryan Johnson, JJ didn't really tell him much. Ryan didn't know what was going on with Rey's parents and all that stuff, and that's why he's sort of done his own thing in 8. And it was always as soon as JJ was announced to come back in, we're sort of laughing on, well, how much of what Ryan done is he going to take out and redo or whatever else. And one funny thing, seeing that teaser and seeing the helmet being put back together is like JJ's way of, well, no, they shouldn't have got rid of that.
Apparently, Ryan Johnson didn't particularly care for the helmet, and so that's why he had it destroyed in the movie. Me, I could go either way with it. Actually, I think it looks cooler broken and with the red lines crisscrossing across the helmet. But that the helmet kind of made, especially with that fake voice modulator, made the character just sound like and look like a giant Vader wannabe. And I didn't particularly care for it, the whole look. You know?
Well, but then it's the mass destruction in Episode 8 served a purpose though. Like he's trying to be like his grandfather, and Snoke said, "Take off that ridiculous helmet," and he has a tizzy and smashes it, and it sort of it just shows that he wants to be all powerful and whatever else, but he's not seen like that, even with Hux sort of getting stuck into him every now and then as well. So.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a power struggle that I think we'll see coming up in 9. We keep calling it 9, but it does have an official title now, The Rise of Skywalker. Oh. And so I think that's going to be something we see in this movie, is the power struggle between Hux and Kylo Ren, because Hux does not like being bossed around by Kylo Ren, very obviously. And Kylo Ren is, of course, the supreme leader now. He killed Snoke, and I don't think that's going to be something that J.J. Abrams is going to be undoing.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what goes on there. I was going to mention something about something, now I've forgotten.
Lando's back?
That was great to see Lando.
Yeah, it was. I was actually watching the whole reveal live. I'd woken up early that morning and was watching the whole thing hosted by Colbert. And it was really funny watching the Colbert ask him the questions, because everybody's dodging his questions, especially Kathleen Kennedy. And at one point Colbert says, "Oh, I see you brought me here to ask questions, not have them answered."
Yeah, they carefully crafted what questions they wanted them to ask, which is odd because they gave nothing away and showed the trailer. The trailer showed more than what anything of the panel said.
Well, there was me being a prop person, one thing that they did show a nice good close-up of was you at least partially see the reconstructed Graflex saber, the Skywalker saber that Anakin and Luke had used before Rey had inherited it. And so there's she kind of welded it back together and then welded the two pieces back with a piece overlaying it. It kind of looks like a little bit like the black clamp, I guess you could call it, that combined the two sections on on Anakin's apprentice saber, the one that looked like Darth Vader's.
Yeah. I suppose lastly on the whole Rise of Skywalker, JJ was sort of hinting in The Force Awakens that Rey was someone, and then it was shot down in the second one. You reckon she's a heir of Skywalker? She's related at all, or was the title got a different meaning?
I don't know. I kind of still root for the whole Skywalker bloodline thing. I mean, has been the role of these 9 movies. The Skywalker family. It was the Skywalker saga. In fact, I think Disney's even releasing all 9 movies next year under the title the Skywalker saga or something like that.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Yeah, and so I think that what Kylo Ren told Rey in The Last Jedi was kind of going to subvert the "I am your father" moment.
Yeah.
And when everybody left the theater, everybody assumed Kylo Ren was telling the truth. But and when Empire Strikes Back came out in 1981, in 1980, everybody who came out of that theater was like, "No way, Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad." You know, I think they're going to pull a reverse of that and say, "No, Kylo Ren was lying," and Luke's going to say, "I'm your father."
Yeah. I ain't going in for this last of the 9 films. I think they're going to play it pretty much just as safe as what Force Awakens was, and I could totally see that happening, just because it sort of needs to wrap up these 9 movies. We know Rian Johnson's got the his own trilogy he's working on now.
But then again, I mean, nobody expected Palpatine to return. I mean,
Well,
the laugh happens at the end of the trailer, and then, like you said, Ian McDermott came out on the stage. He's like, "Play it again," and it's a Palpatine voice, and they play the trailer again. And at first, I thought it was Ian McDermott doing the laugh at the end of the trailer, but then the trailer played again, and the laugh was still there. And then I went on YouTube and watched the trailer, and the laugh is still there. You know,
yeah.
I mean, nobody expected that. It was actually a huge plot point for a comic series called Dark Empire that came out after Return of the Jedi, where the Emperor does in fact return. He uses the Force to transfer his mind into he cloned himself and kept like a small batch of clones hidden away and frozen away in a secret facility, and he just transferred his consciousness into that.
Yeah.
And the problem is that the bodies kept aging really fast to match up with the aged mind he had, and so he kept having to transfer to clones until he tried taking over the mind of Han Solo's son, Anakin Solo. And so it's interesting because this trilogy has had a lot of parallels with the Dark Empire comic series. And so, I mean, just simple things like, well, in Dark Empire, it was Chewbacca who died. In this one, it's Han Solo who died. And in Dark Empire, it was, there was a character called Jason Solo, who was the son of Han Solo, who turned to the dark side. And so it's just interesting because, I mean, you get all these parallels with the expanded universe, and it's something, and Dark Empire had been one of the most popular, along with the Thrawn trilogy, and you're noticing that a lot of these popular Legends canon ideas are coming back and being reintroduced into the new canon.
Yeah, it's good to see they're just sort of referencing some of those stories from before. It's much the same as when we see these new Jurassic films, how we see little bits here and there brought out of the books or other media related to it. So
yeah, like even just recycling some of the old ideas. I know that in The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, a lot of the concept art, not a lot, but some of the concept art centered around this idea of the Emperor's, I don't know, Force presence or whatever you want to call it, still kind of floating around the universe. And how Anakin Skywalker's Force ghost was haunting Kylo Ren, and kind of like a Hamlet thing, where Anakin Skywalker is just like, dude, why are you idolizing all my mistakes? This is the worst thing you could possibly be doing. You know, and there's like at one point where he tries to scare him straight by turning into this horribly disfigured, mutilated version of Darth Vader.
So what he was under the suit.
Basically, yeah, but it was like the actual features look like Darth Vader, and so you got like the mask, but it was like made out of bone and muscle.
Oh, okay. Ew.
I know, and I think that was dropped just because it was so graphic, but I would like to see the idea of it return, like they did in Jurassic World with like say the Pteranodon attack was very graphically mapped out in storyboards, and then they brought a kind of more PG-13 version in for Jurassic World, where you kind of some of them are actually like shot for shot recreations of the storyboards. I know, like when the Pteranodons were attacking the the Indian hunters in the after they leave the field of velociraptors. You get in the storyboards. There's a shot of two hunters and a flock of Pteranodons coming down on them, and then we got that exact shot for shot in Jurassic World when we see the two park security guards at that fence, and they look up and there's a flock of Pteranodons coming down on them. Then there's another one where one of the Pteranodons shoves his head through one of the helicopters and impales one of the Indian hunters on its beak, and then the shot was done in Jurassic World as well.
Yep. And as for Palpatine, well, like Solo Star Wars story sort of brought back, and so the Clone Wars, the cartoon series, Darth Maul. So I think it's actually said in the teaser too that nothing's true always, or nothing's ever completely gone, or something like that.
Yeah, that was one of Luke Skywalker's lines from The Last Jedi that he tells Leia after handing her a projection of Han's lucky dice. Is he tells them no one's ever really gone, and then they brought that line back for this trailer, and it actually almost kind of parallels something that Palpatine says to Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, that the dark side is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. And so that was kind of applied with, like you said, Darth Maul, who manages to survive complete bisection, and is kind of just straps himself to this robotic body, and keeps himself alive for what was it, like 18 years, until the Clone Wars were raging.
Yeah. And Palpatine just got thrown off a balcony. So yeah, there's always been that thing. He's a Sith Lord. How did he not survive that?
There's a thing in Star Wars where if he's not dead if you don't see the body.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
That's why a lot of people, I remember after Force Awakens, you didn't see Han's body when he fell. You see him stabbed and ran through and fell. Oh, he's still alive. No. I'm pretty sure at this point Han Solo's dead. Yeah,
he kind of fell into the center of a planet, and then they blew up the planet.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, but then again, they did that with Palpatine. They shoved him down a hole that went directly to the reactor core of the Death Star, and then they blew up the Death Star. So.
Yeah. Were you at Celebrate? Were you in the hall when they were doing all that stuff?
No, I found a live stream. I don't go until Monday.
Oh, okay, it's still going. All right. Did they show images or footage? I heard there's the Tantive 4 and what might be Yavin. They return there, and it's all covered in jungle and vines.
They showed some production stills of that.
Stills.
Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking that's going to be a nice little tie back to the Lost World, just going back to somewhere we've seen before, and even that ship sitting there and just covered in vines, the jungle come back and taken over, which I think will look fantastic. And I think that's where they get Han's medal from that we see Rey and Leia hold in the teaser as well.
Either that, or I was thinking maybe it's either possibly Luke's, because Luke also got one, Han had shoved it like in some cabinet in the Millennium Falcon or something.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, that's the Star Wars talk for today. Possibly SDCC or somewhere mid-year we'll probably get the full first trailer, and it'll show us a little bit more. But as JJ likes to do, he shows us a lot that doesn't really mean much in the final film. So time will tell. But definitely excited for it.
Yeah.
I bet you Eric's in there, don't you think? I'd bet my bottom dollar.
Alright, before we get into 44, we have our we have our Jurassic-Pedia.com article to discuss, and today, right on topic, is the gas grenades. Good little article there done by Trenosaur TJ, bit of a run through on the gas grenades. You can't really see it much on the one that's thrown, but there is a prop that's been out for a while, or a photo of the prop, and you can actually see the engine logo on it.
And yeah, you can see the engine logo, and then above that it says nerve paralyzer. So it was nerve gas they were spraying. It wasn't just like gas grenades.
Which I suppose makes you wonder, again, if InGen's if they had to get out before the hurricane, and they're only dealing with infant animals, why would they have gas grenades or weapons like that? We know they got more lethal stuff on Nublar, but
considering that these animals presented a very considerable price tag, I would have to imagine that Hammond wouldn't have allowed any kind of lethal.
Oh yeah.
Kind of weaponry to wrangle in the animals. I remember in the book where these actually come from, in a way. I remember in the book that Muldoon had to really fight with Hammond just to get any kind of weapons on the island. And then in the Lost World, where these are kind of introduced, there's a package that that Ian Malcolm's team brings with them in the trailers called Alexander's Ragtime Band Non-Lethals. Don't ask me why chose that name. I have no idea. I kind of speculated at one point that Crichton may have been a Emerson, Lake and Palmer fan because there's a couple references to Carnival 9 in The Lost World, which is an Emerson, Lake and Palmer, probably the most famous song that they've done. It's a half hour of just psychedelic music. But yeah, then they use the gas grenades, which are nerve paralyzers, on the Velociraptors to rescue the character R.B. Benton from the raptor nest, because they kind of steal RB cage and all, and because they had a shark cage they kind of brought with them that was like a cylindrical shark cage, and RB hidden that, and the Velociraptors just steal it and start rolling it back to the nest.
Yeah, and we also get a second shot there part there too, where they used for Sarah and Ian and Kelly to escape the second part of the RV, the trailer.
That's right. They used the last of the non-lethals for that little trick.
Yeah, and that's something that's played right through, as you said, with the novel, and Hammond not wanting to have any sort of stuff that can harm the animals. You can see that definitely in the film as well, especially when Grant's taking a shot at the raptors and he's screaming at him not to through the phone, and even all the way up to Jurassic World where they wouldn't go after the Indominus Rex with lethal force until
which turned out to be a very bad idea.
Yeah. But we can talk all day about that. But yeah, we get the gas grenades brought up a little in the next couple of minutes as well, where Grant Sarks and Eri asking Eric if there's any more weapons. So yeah, so that's an article there. Head over to Jurassic-Pedia.com, and that's under gas grenades, film canon.
We're gonna find them. You listening to me? We're gonna find them. Kid's got resources. Remember what it was like to try to ground him?
All right. Minute 44, Dave, ready to get into it?
Sure.
Alright. As we minute 43 of Jurassic Park 3, Grant was watching a male and female raptor closely, wondering what it's saying, what it's looking for. The female had called out to the others and had left Udesky, but not before one male had bent down, grabbed his head in its jaws, and snapped his neck. As a start, minute 44, Amanda looks away in disgust as the raptor snaps Udesky's neck and stares up at them, victorious. At the 5-second mark, we cut back to Grant, peering over a large tree root at the two raptors that were barking and calling out. But when he looks at his surroundings, he sees the two raptors are gone. He sits back down behind the tree root and thinks for a minute, before looking up and sitting up to look back over the tree roots. At the 18-second mark, he's face to face with the male raptor, and it snarls at him. Grant stands and moves backwards as the raptor jumps up onto the tree and then jumps down in front of him. At the 26-second mark, two more raptors join the first, and Grant's surrounded. He turns, looking for any chance of escape, but there isn't one. At the 35-second mark, with a loud fizz, a gas grenade lands on the ground between Grant and the raptors. Two more hit the ground, and the raptors start to react violently to the smoke that's bellowing up in front of them. At the 49-second mark, as the raptors bolt from the area, a small figure comes into the smoke and grabs Grant by the hand and starts pulling him forward, away from the toxic gas. And as the minute ends, Eric Kirby leads Grant away from the gas and deeper into the jungle. A couple of quieter minutes here, not a lot happening really. As we opened last minute, we sort of got the end of the next snap, and you got that real Jurassic Park theme here. Sort of echoes back to the control room and the raptors sort of chasing the people through the visitor centre. Just those real tense music.
Mm-hmm.
But we cut to Alan taking another look at the raptors. He peers over the tree root, but the raptors seem to be gone. And he pulls back and sits down for a moment, gathering his thoughts, and he sort of looks up at the root and starts to move back up again to look over it. And he's face to face with one of the male raptors, which...
Peekaboo!
Yeah. Which obviously the whole time they knew where he was when they were talking to each other. They were calling the female and that was with Udesky's body over, saying this guy's over here and we can smell the eggs, or we know he's got the eggs. Because he has got the eggs at this time, and he's looked back over and here's the male springing the trap. Again, they set a trap. Which we discussed a couple of minutes ago. The raptors set traps a lot more than what Billy says they do.
Yeah.
But Alan stands and starts walking backwards as the raptor leaps up onto the root and then jumps down in front of him. And then Grant sort of backs into the clearing. Two more raptors race out onto the scene, snarling at him. And then the female runs in and talks to one nearby, and then Grant realises this is a very bad spot and gasps.
Yeah, I kind of always personally imagined that that it's kind of like a game of telephone here, where they're relaying the message. This guy's got the eggs. This guy's got the eggs. You know.
I'm surprised we don't get a shot down to the bag or something from their POV.
Yeah.
Or sort of just the female coming in, looking at Grant, then looking down. Seeing the backpack there, or even just sniffing the air near them.
Yeah, sniffing the air probably would have actually. I mean, even would have been the easiest. I mean, you could add that in post production. Just some, just like you don't even need the nostrils to move. You just see the raptor sniffing, or hear it rather.
Yep. But it seems dire for Grant at this point. It's surrounded by raptors. Even if Amanda and the others come on the scene here, I don't think there's anything they could have done or they could do. Like, no